Okay, here it is. We're heading out to wedding number two. Two young lovers on their 10-year anniversary. They decided to become husband and wife. So we're heading there now to perform a ceremony where it all began in the backyard of his parents' house. So, yes, where it all began 10 years ago, where he first asked her to be his girlfriend in his parents' backyard. That's where they're tying the knot at today. So it's a romantic full circle moment. I'm excited. I'm blessed. I'm honored to definitely be a part of their story. Um, their ceremony is definitely moving and it's romantic, and I'm just hoping not to shed a tear myself while going ahead and performing the ceremony. So I'm excited, a little nervous. I'm gonna go ahead and say a prayer before I unite them in marriage and go ahead and just speak from the heart. So I would say what differs from this ceremony from the first one that I had is that number one, the first ceremony, oh gosh, I had like a week to prepare for it. So it was really kind of rush. At the next light, turn right. It was kind of, rushed on, but I felt rushed on my end. But I was excited. I wanted to, knock that out the park and pop my officiant cherry. So, but that one was more of a, they just did it their way. It was just the two of them. They're like, hey, wherever you are, we'll come to you. And that's that. And, it was just a quick meetup. And they were kissing throughout the whole ceremony before I even said kiss the bride. It was crazy. It was fun. They were really fun. I think this ceremony, I'm coming to notice that an officiant is the last person that's booked when it comes to a person's wedding. Um, they're usually choosing an officiant when it's time to pick up the marriage license because they need a name to put on the marriage license, and that's that. So, for their marriage license application. So I'm quickly learning that lesson. But I feel like this ceremony, they're doing it at home. They wanted a big wedding. They wanted to have it on the beach, but because her soon to be father-in-law is sick, they wanted to have it at the home so he can be a part of it as well. So both ceremonies I feel like are lovely in gestures and meanings and things like that. And I guess everybody's going to have something different. But I guess I just had more time to prepare for this. And sometimes the more time you have to prepare, the more ink and paper you waste because, Lord, I didn't change up some stuff several times and felt like I didn't need to, but I did. But I'm ready. I probably would say one thing I'm doing different today that I didn't do the last time is I'm not as nervous, I don't think. I'm more prepared. During the course of, I guess, between the last wedding and this wedding, I did, oh, I didn't need it. Ah, shoot. Yeah, I didn't need it. I did go ahead and do a couple of things differently. I have a podium now where I can go ahead and set that up to hold my portfolio or my iPad or what have you. Um, I think I'm a little bit more at ease at this point in time. I have my microphone again, but I have better recording stuff. So so the recording should definitely come out better this time than the last time. But I think those are mainly the two things that I would say is different. Well, although I have picked up the role of officiating, it's not my full time job. So I did work this morning. I worked my job this morning. And in the middle of working, I went on and I practiced my script. I made any additional fine tuning. But what I did was I went on and I read the script out loud, the ceremony out loud, at least 3 times. One thing I did notice is that you get a better feel of how it's going to read if you're standing up reading it. Sitting down reading just felt like I was reading a piece of paper, but once I stood up, I felt like I was actually performing a ceremony, and I was able to, enunciate and do the pausing that I needed to and have the breathing room and really try to feel out the ceremony. I say this time, I really think that I had a lot more edits than I did my last ceremony. So I kind of went through a lot of printer paper today because I thought I had it right and then printed out the wrong ceremony. It was just, you live and you learn, right? But I would definitely say practice what you're reading, because the more you go over it, the more that you could read it off of memory and give eye contact when you're in the middle of your pause, and you can look up at the bride and groom and really connect with them and not just stand there reading off a sheet of paper or your iPad. Run around in circles. Well, we're stepping into this wedding, and well, not stepping into, we're driving towards, I should say, this wedding, and I honestly feel that the vibe this evening is more of a romantic, family oriented, inclusive, and just a really heartfelt uh, ceremony and couple. I've read both of their vows, and their wedding ceremony is definitely based on their vows. Some people would have vows and they'll probably add something a little funny, a little quirky, a little insider or one liner, like a little haha between me and my husband. But these two are really in in love. Like, I mean, not saying nobody else is in love, but they're really, their words are very, intentional, and it's like, I don't know how to put it. He's like, well, I didn't want to wait 10 years, but I wanted to make sure I was right, before I asked you to be my wife, and or before, we made this commitment or walked down the aisle and everything. And, he's just really serious about his intention as, what he wants to be as a husband, and maybe, later on father. They didn't talk about kids in their information, but, as possibly a father. He's just really serious about his role as being a husband. So this is definitely a romantic, family type of vibe. It's heavy on the romance. So I really feel good to be in the role that I'm in, to be able to bring people together, and like this. It's a very humbling role to be in. People, look at the money and look at dollars and look at what they can bring in off of something, but having this, having somebody trust you for their union is definitely an awesome feeling, and I don't take it lightly. 12.
The destination is on your right.
I just wanna. I just wanna do. That's it. We're here. I texted the bride to let her know we were here, and I'm waiting to hear back to see where she wants me to go ahead and set up. So we're gonna go ahead and get this show on the road. I am glad that I got comfortable shoes. I don't care what anybody said about my shoes feeling like grandma shoes. Okay, my shoes were nice and comfortable. I think they were stylish, but it's not
At the
about
stop
me.
sign.
I'm really excited about being able to go ahead and do this wedding today. And wedding number two being in the books. I'm just, yes, I'm on that high. I really am.
At the light.
The couple was ecstatic. They were excited. They loved everything. Their parents loved everything. The groom's mom even said how, but the groom's mom even said how, she loved everything. Everything I wrote was just so beautiful and so in line with everything, and it described them to a T. So I think everyone was happy, and everyone's rooting for that couple. And you'll see them. They were definitely a sweet couple, and I really enjoyed being able to do this for them. I was, like I said earlier, it really is a humbling experience.
Turn right.
And thinking about the ceremony I just did, I really think that one moment that would have really given me the feels, if you must say, was just standing there talking to the groom. And he was just like, "Do I look okay? Is my shirt straight?" And I'm like, "You're fine." And then as I was reading the ceremony, I think you could probably see it in my face where it felt like I was about to cry because he was just bursting in tears. And as he was saying his vows and had his moment of declaration of the marriage, he just was really, really, you know she was like, "I'm just gonna keep, try to keep a straight face." Any woman would, to try to keep their makeup looking good. But he didn't care. He was snotting and everything, and I loved it. But yeah, I think that the groom really made, the ceremony even more emotional. So that really gave me the feels and feeling the feelings of it all. Officiating is so much more than what people would say is, just you reading words. That's not the thing at all. As the officiant, you're standing at the altar and you're there with the groom, and you're there to try to keep him calm and to keep his nerves together. And if there's anything you may see out of place, you go ahead and try to address it, especially because you know that these moments are going to be around for years and years to come. And like I said, it's just a lot more to it than just standing there saying a couple of words. And I think the groom really, leaned on me today, and I was there for him to lean on. So we were great. As a human, yes, you do what it is that you need to do to help with the flow of things. So that's what I was happy to have done. I think that anytime that you're reading something, um, no matter how many times you read it, you always seem to add or subtract a word or two. And I know I subtracted a word or two. And I felt it when I did, but I just kept going with the flow because nobody would have known that I messed up unless I went back and like, oh shit, and reread it. But I think that as long as you go ahead and you get the gist of what you're trying to say, you remember the important key parts of your ceremony, then that definitely gets you through. And when you're full of that emotion at that time, you definitely, sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. Not saying I was faking it, but that's the saying, fake it till you make it. And again, you're going to miss a couple words here and there. Even the most seasoned people do. But as long as you just go with the flow, I believe, then you should be fine. Just don't beat yourself up about it or make a crazy face. Yeah, don't acknowledge that mistake. As I reflect on this wedding, I am really proud of the fact that I was able to come in professionally and really give them the wedding that they were looking for. from, the assistance I provided, and just the caring and the ceremony that was written for them. I think it was especially made just for them and what they were looking for, their vibe. I think I hit it. But I was even more proud to be able to share this moment with my husband, because it's one thing to see me going over the words in my head at home and see all the edits and the behind the scenes, but he was able to see me up close and personal and really in my element. And I just hope that he was proud of me through through this today. And if I made him proud, then I can honestly, go to sleep happy tonight. Of course, I want my bride and groom to be very proud and happy as well, because you never want a dissatisfied customer. But from a personal aspect, I believe I did a good job for the bride and groom. The parents, the grandparents, the bride, the groom, everybody, really loved everything. Even a friend walking out, But my personal takeaway is having my husband see me in my element, and knowing that I didn't mess up, and that he was proud, and that's uh, a personal victory for me. Cut before I start crying. I ain't getting married. Cut. I would definitely tell future couples to definitely book with me. Definitely book with me if you want someone who's going to, get your story and tell it the way that it should be told, where it doesn't feel scripted, doesn't feel like it's being read off a piece of paper. That's going to have you and your guests, that's going to have you, your guests, your family, and even your officiant having all the feels. Definitely book with me. um, I I just want to be there to be able to help tell your story, and just to be a part of this with you, and to get you down that aisle and over that broom, cross the finish line into married life, all of that. So yes, hit like and subscribe. I know what y'all say.